Okay, good morning. This is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching. Let's jump right into it. Before we do, please take a moment to read this. I'm required to put it up there, so it is up there. So, okay. Number one, I was just covering this. You can see we're just in this huge, wide balance range. That means we can trade widely in both directions quite easily. Okay. You'll notice I've taken off the overnight. I'm just using the US session levels for support because they are more key. Let me show you what I mean by that. So when I'm trying to get clarity, I've got to narrow the information. So look, I'm going to draw this, and I'm going to draw this. Okay, those are two key areas from yesterday. And this. Okay, which was the afternoon. That was the swing high from the afternoon on the 23rd, right? So if you look how that day broke out, the reason it's important is because you'll notice once you get behind these two levels, below 1593, I understand it was 100 points behind that level, right? But you had to get behind that level to take out the stops, right? And the only stops they didn't take out were over here at 19461, okay? In addition, when you're looking within intraday, you would want to go, here, let me show you this. You'd want to look for where the anomalies are. And part of the reason why we slipped through here is you'll notice that we slipped, and what they were trying to hit were these single prints. Right here. Okay, so this is important. When they try to get to a location, see how they just missed that by 20 points, and anyone would have naturally gone, they're trying to hit the single prints and they miss them, right? That's what causes the strong rebound. So what we got caught in between was taking out the stops from the 22nd and hitting the single prints from overnight. You can see that it looks like we're going to come in and take out these single prints this morning in that 84 to 61, and I would look for responsive buyers the first time into or just below that area, okay? And then once we open, I'll add the overnight to see where the unfair pricing is. Randy's pretty good at updating us on that anyways. And then you'll see if we get below 37, there's a half gap here. This is the mid of the half gap. You may want to put it on. Mid of the gap, excuse me, half gap of the gap. So that's 72 to 56, right? And then we have the actual gap fill, which would be right here. Okay, so that 19,204 and a quarter, which is obviously achievable. And what you'll usually notice is it's between here and that, and in that unfair pricing. It's not necessarily right at 19,204. That's where you're going to start to look. Which brings us up to what I think is really important this morning. So let me save this. Okay, I want to show you, I have been trying to explain to someone who knows nothing about the market how this process works, and they were asking about the apex trap. So let me explain something on both the apex trap and the tweezers top and the tweezers bottom, which is important. And let me fix this light real quick, which is attempting to blind me. There we go. Okay. So, if you will look at any trap that we're searching for, so here I have this circled, I can show this pretty easily. Okay, what we're pushing for as a team is to reduce our stops and increase our P&L, right? So we want to know two things. Where does the larger RR come from? And what do the better traps look like, right? Not necessarily more trades, but the better trades. So I want to show you something. Okay, so this is a 24 tick. If you'll notice when you get an apex, so this is specifically referring to the apex, right? Okay, so I said yesterday, the apex traps, when you get a arrow within 3 bars, you tend to get a great reversal. So now I'm going to add a piece to it. The arrow is still valid, nothing changes to that, but if you'll notice, when you get a no supply, no demand. Now here's where the negative part of this is going to be. Sometimes you don't get the no supply, no demand, and in that case, if you get the apex trap, So two rule: if you get this and you close back in, you will often get a very large spring to the upside. Okay, particularly, and in addition to, if you get two arrows down, right, that's really powerful. It's going to take off from there. Now, just follow me for a sec. See over here where you don't get the no supply, no demand? Okay, what you want to do is wait until you either get a no supply, no demand on the way back in, and then it becomes, that's harder because it's a 2-bar stop. It's a big stop, right? But the point is, once you have this, you have a pretty good idea that they're going to push the other direction. Right now, here's another example. You break, right? You get the, oh, that's at the close. Let's not worry about that. Here, let's go forward. Here's a point where I break the no supply, the apex. I don't get a no supply, no demand. So if I wait for the no supply, no demand back in, I tend to get the release. I'm going to show you this again. Here's my apex. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, I would have counted this as a break on this, and when we closed back in on it, I would have taken this. I just would have taken it twice. So let me explain this. This is good. This is better. So if you reduced your entries to when you got the no supply, no demand on the break of the apex, your win rate would go much, much higher. Okay, so let me explain. See here, tweezer top, broken by the no supply, no demand. Okay, so now all you're waiting for is the close back in, and this bar is the close back in. But you want that no supply, no demand to peak out. Okay, so all this work, so I was just trying to explain to this person how to improve the odds, and then what I realized was that it wasn't as easy to explain as I wanted. So the apex trap itself is obviously very easy to explain, but what I realized when I was explaining this to her, okay, apex, no supply, no demand, closes above, closes back in. Okay, and that's why I want to highlight that trade, because if you'll notice when that happens quite often, and yesterday was not the easiest day, right? Here it is. I'll show you on the 15 tick. We actually had an example this morning, but I'm going to go back to yesterday. Outside of 9 o'clock, right? So here's a case where I'm going to draw the lines. I'm going to make this really big so y'all can see it easily. Okay, this is the first one I would draw. Okay, so if I'm trading the 15 tick, that's a stop. But here's where this is important. See where you break the apex over here? Okay, break the apex, purple bar. This is the first bar is your entry, right here. And you get the lift, right? So this breaks the apex. So then you come over here, there's nothing, right? Nothing here. You had to start, and what I would do is once I get this bar, I'm looking for the revert. It can usually be 2 bars below because 1 bar will trap it back in. No trade, right? Over here, there's my apex. So again, if I get the no supply, no demand breaking it, close back in, short. I don't mind this showing the stops, but this eliminates, having that requirement eliminates a lot of stops. And then you'll see over here, if you'll wait for this no supply, no demand to get below and then close back in. So if you look at that series, right, and you go, well, there were stops there. that's not the problem, right? So if you look at the win rate, right? This is stop, win. So these are small stops. These are 10-point stops, right? Win, no trade, huge win, right? Either very small stop or scalp. So I would take a stop on that because I'm going to try and push it, all else being equal, right? And then when I come down here, this was potential, but there's no way it could trap back in. Then on this stop out, right? If I wait for the no supply, no demand, and then wait for the close back in, you can see I get that huge lift. Okay, so now it works the opposite way over here. If you look. So you got to remember your rules, right? You don't want to short the AB leg. You want the CD leg. But even if you go through here, right, that's viable. You have a 10-point stop. You just got caught on this rip here, right? There's nothing you can do. Here's your next entry. So this one, I would say, let's call this stop, paid, and you're break even in that sequence. This is no trade. Now you're waiting because you need an apex, right? Which means your next trade ends up being right here. Okay, no trade over here. It was an apex trap, it just didn't have the purple bar. Here's your apexes. There's your no supply, no demand. You had to take it twice, right? First one stopped, second one paid you. Okay, but if you'll notice that purple bar is working very effectively. Now I'm going to go back to what Ed's point is, because I don't want to lose what Ed said, because he's really been hammering me on this one point, and he's correct. Ed, are you in the room this morning, buddy? I think he is. Let me look. Yeah, good morning. So Ed has been hammering this thing, especially when we're in trend, okay? But he's right in general. Let me show you something. Okay, we're going to go from 9 o'clock. By the way, you know we're already opening in trend down. We're down 103, right? I suggest you just let the first half hour burn. So I want to show you something, okay? So see, once we're in trend down, what Ed was pointing out, or has been trying to point out, is that the pink bar stuffed has been paying very, very nicely, okay? What I would add to that, or the component I would add to that, is if you push that and you get the arrow down with the purple bar, okay, and you use a 1-bar stop, treat this as a scalp if nothing else, right? So the way you get the bigger trade is to get it on the apex trap, right? But this is 1, 2, 3. That's a pretty good series right through there, right? You got your money off here, you got stopped here, and you got your money off over here, and you had the apex trap on top of that, right? And as you go through that day, and if you'll go through the additional piece of having it outside the channel. So remember, this is trend down and trend up. You're trading both ways, right? And if you'll focus on the bars with the arrow on them, okay, what you would see is an awful lot of wins. And so you can go, but Simon, here I get the pink bar, it gets stuffed. Well, guess what? If that pink bar stuff comes after an apex, you have very good odds of getting that trade to flip. So what I was going with was what Ed was working with, and then I was going, well, what's the next component in there? So hold on, that's not all. What I want to look at slowly, so this is effectively a coaching session, okay? So if you go through there slowly, right? When you get this arrow up and then the pink bar, you know someone's pushed, right? You know someone's pushed, and they pushed with very little volume. If you'll look at this, this is effectively should be considered a low volume node with a lot of delta. So remember, delta measures the imbalance. This combo of bars measures the imbalance of buyers and sellers. This measures the volume or lack of volume, right? So what you would say in this when you're looking at this is leaving little low volume nodes all over the place. Think about that idea or process, right? So what you are looking for is at extremes or where you're taking out stops to get a no supply, no demand, right? And then once you get behind it, what the natural nature of this is. So this is how I'm not giving you a trade, I'm telling you how to think about it, right? This is a no supply, no demand, right? If you look at how markets tend to treat these, they do this. No supply, no demand, come back in and pit volume, and then go on its merry way, right? So if you look at the way this goes, this is a low volume node. We came back in and pit volume. We closed underneath, backside tested, and rolled lower. Okay, that's how that gets treated. They like to get backside, those bars like to get backside tested. Like here, see this bar here? Leaves the no supply, no demand. Close above it, backside tests it, and goes. This information and this concept is important, okay? Because that's how the market likes. Look how many times it does it. Watch. No supply, no demand. Closes underneath, comes back and checks up on it, and goes. That's the pattern. Right now, does it do it every time? No, so you need the rest of the context there. Watch. No supply, no demand. Closes underneath it. Backside test. Closes up above. Backside test. Goes on its merry way. Right? Watch. No supply, no demand. Pits the volume back in underneath it. Backside test it. Goes on its merry way. That's the pattern you have to understand that the mechanics of that, that's how it works, right? Now, here's where people get into difficulty with this, right? Is they go, well, it didn't backside test over here, which is true. Okay, so if you look at this sequence here, right, what this did was, comes up, gets above, leaves another no supply, no demand, and then pushes down through it, right? Watch. So what you want, so what Ed's doing is pretty smart, right? What Ed's doing is pretty smart. He's recognizing that they're leaving a no supply, no demand at the bottom. They're coming to backside test it, and then they're pushing away. Not only, so if Ed said, well, how could I enhance that trade, right? Well, you could leave a limit right at the top of that bar and a stop right below that bar. And what you'd end up with is very tiny stops and entries, just like this. This. He could limit back on that bar. And why is that important? Because even here, he gets a one-to-one stretch. Now, this is where it gets complicated, and I'm going to slow down. The simple way to do this, is one of two ways. Does everyone hear me explain? Ed, am I overcomplicating it yet? Just a yes or no, because I'm about to simplify it. Okay, good. That's all I make sure. So here's the easy way to fix this. Okay. If you get a purple bar stuffed like this, the easy way to fix it with a tiny stop is to limit right here when this bar closes and put a stop from the bar before that it closed back in on. That puts you at a 19,550 to a 19,546. You have to be very detail oriented and probably pretty fast on the hands to do that. Okay? And you won't always get filled. But it doesn't matter. Let me explain why. You're going to get filled so many times on this. Let me explain this. You're going to get filled so many times on this and on this. Every one of these fills, except for this one right here. You're going to get filled so many times and has such a tiny stop that even the fill right over here takes you from 58 down to 47, 10 points, right? And your risk on that is 50, whatever the bottom of that bar is, right, is 57 to 65 in this case, which is 7 points versus 10 points, right? So that's $200 a pop, depending on how many contracts you can run. In order to do that trade, the market has to be moving slow enough so that you can get all the components in, meaning the backside test, right? The backside test and the stop in, right? So the easy way to do that is just to put a 10-point stop. So let me explain how to do that. Put a 10-point stop in, and when you see this bar form, right? If you see that bar form at 54, draw it back 2 or 3 points with a 10-point stop. Get your 1-to-1 risk off quickly, and then you have to have the rest of the read. Now, if that's too complex, all you're doing is this. So what I'm looking for, right? What I am looking for is a combination of the arrow and the no supply, no demand. Let me see if I can simplify it. I want an arrow up within 3 bars proximity, preferably 2 bars, right? No supply, no demand, get it stuffed, and have it go down. That's what I'm looking for, right? So what I end up with is win, loss, win. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, loss. Okay. 2 relatively small losses, 1 very large win, and then I'm looking to at, so then the last component would be is am I at location, right? If you'll notice constantly, right? If you'll notice constantly, I'm trying to explain the way I think and figure out how to explain it to y'all so you see the trade. The easiest way for me to do this, right? The easiest way for me to do this, to get all the pieces together, is this. Apex, arrow up, pink bar, get below the pink bar. That's the easiest, when I'm going through that mental checklist, that is the easiest way to think about that. Apex, arrow, pink bar, get below the pink bar. Is that better, Ed? Or still too complex? I think I lost him already. Okay, same thing. Apex, right? Arrow, purple, arrow down, pink bar. And those of you who know ETA, that's the ETA trade. Okay, when you look, right? When you look, it's apex, arrow, get behind that bar, and go. Right? Apex, arrow, pink bar, get behind it, and roll. And ultimately what you're looking for is pink or purple stuffed right at the edge, right? And what I suggest is you have a way for it. What you want it to do is this. So this is the easy way, for me at least, right? What I'm looking for is this. I want the apex stopped out and trapped back in. Stop, trap back in. Stop, trap back in. Stop. I need that to trap back in order for it to go, because that's where the resistance is, right? So look. Stop, arrow down, get above, trap back in, lift. Nothing. Nothing. Stop, arrow up, pink bar. This trap fails. This trap goes. You need the trap back in to where the stops are to get it to reverse, right? No matter where you're looking on this chart, and it's the same on the 24, right? If I'm over here, I've got to get back in here, right? If I'm over here, I've got to get back in here. What do I want to see? I want to see him push with no volume or with a delta push, right? So here I break, purple bar, close back in, go. Here I break, right? Here I break, pink bar, arrow, trap back in, and then what I do not want is I don't want it to close back up above there. I want it to go. It's still too complex? You want to give your explanation of it? Ed may have dropped off, which is fine. He's not answering. That's my explanation of it. That's what I'm looking for, right? But you have to have the close back into the, obviously into the trap to get the trap. And what you want to see is someone push outside the trap. Look, it's this. We've gotten away from this, and I'm going to fix it. Potential trap. Potential trap. But where does the release come from, right? If you'll look every time where the release comes from, it's these bars, right? This goes, right? So you have to have, right, the element, and the best element is to get the algo right on top, have it stuffed, and trap back in. That is the best one. You can't always get it, but that is the best one. And my favorite by far is this. Apex, one, no supply, no demand underneath, and close back in. It works fantastically, right? You have to be patient for it. You don't get a lot of them, but when you get them, they work great. Let me see if I can find one more example. Right there, see that? Here, one, no supply, no demand above, trap back in, bye-bye. And it does it over and over and over, and I will be hunting that today without a doubt. Anyways, we're about to open. That's my 2 cents. I would look for that no supply, no demand after you break the apex, and then I would look for the trap back in. That's what you're looking for the market to rip, and then add in your key locations. And that's what you're doing. Any questions? Helpful, not helpful, confusing, not confusing. And we are off to the races. I don't even know if we have econ today. Let's go look. Consumer confidence at 9 o'clock. We haven't tested the 19504 yet. Head and Shoulders there to the left. Purple bar stuff there at eye below. I want to see if we can take out some of these apexes here, here, and here. And obviously, yeah, the stops will be sitting right behind here. There's 504. That should try to lift, as it is. And she does. Okay, do you see that? We broke behind the apex. So, broke behind the apex. Purple bar stuffed. Lift. Got behind the apex. Purple bar. You had to close back in. And it closed back in on that pink bar right there. And lift. And you'll see pink bar. It likes to come back and backside test those pink bars. You have to be really quick on it. Okay. Now we've taken out this apex over here. We've taken out this apex over here. Right. With the pink bar. Now you need to close back in. And it becomes a 1 bar stop. However you choose to do it. It becomes a 1 bar stop. Right, so this is already closed back in. You'll notice it didn't have a no supply, no demand on the 15. Did on the 24, still has to close at the 21. And now you'd like it to grab back towards that 33 and come back for a retest. And then make notes of the small little extra notes in there like lower lows, lower highs, supernova, etc., etc. Okay. Coming back for testing that head and shoulders. That's a head and shoulders on a 15 tick and a 24. They took out the apex on the left. So I realized I wasn't quite that eloquent this morning, but I will be using this a lot. I've gotten away from showing where the apex traps are, and I will be returning to that because it shows where the stops are and where the trade setups come from, and it'll help us get patience on locations. Okay. So there's the apex, right? There's none over here, right? They're trying to test that 15,504 is what they're trying to break down on. That's long, 19484 against the low. It's 30 minutes, so I'm not trading. It's the first half hour, first 10 minutes, but that's exactly what I'm looking for. Stop or no stop. That's what I'm looking for, is the break with the purple right there, trap, and go with a hold 1 point from the low. Whether that works or not, I don't care. Too many examples of it flying to the other side of the range. Thank you. Good point. 3. And that's a stop. Again, I'm not worried about the stops in the first half hour, obviously, because I'm not trading the first half hour. How about now? Oh, I see what you mean now. It didn't break on the... Well, it did. I still would have taken that. I would have taken that. And we're below the 5.9, which is the prior day's low. Good deal. And by the way, the trading in the afternoon was much better than the trading in the first hour yesterday by about 100 million miles. I would take that long too. I may regret that. I'm not taking it long. I'm just saying I might regret even saying it, but I would take that long. It also trapped back in above 6.1. Also, you got this huge push right here. Where we have to get above this. And we've done that. All the delta fell off on the sell side. We'll see if it shows back up. Oh, it showed back up, didn't it? Now, when that sentiment changes, it changes. They've tested underneath multiple times. Underneath that 61. So a lot of trapping underneath that 61. You got to get over this wave. Testing that 61 again. Telling me they pushed super hard on that 61. That should go. Beautiful. Back to test IB low. So what you had was, look what they did. So reconstruct this slowly. I've gotten away from this and we're going back to it. Okay. 61. Roughly. Test below, no supply, no demand. Test below, no supply, no demand. First trap, second trap. So you know the same guy's committed. Right there, arrow, arrow, parallel. Pointing control above. Backside test. Go. Okay, Randy, does that make sense? Now this is the wave to the low. This is your close on the wave to the low. And these are your two major points of control within that wave. And this is specifically the point of control to the low right there. And that could go all the way. We could close at 19,700 today, just so you know. Possible. We took out a low. Look at the balance. Look. What's going on here? There we go. Look. Here's a target everyone wants, right? Here's yesterday's low. Here's the single prints we couldn't take out. Here's the low from the 16th. We tested below. So the next 1 or 2 support areas, right? Everyone's pushing for this. They can't. They're jammed. We trap back in. They try underneath 3 times. Fail. Push. Target 19,600. Followed by all the poorly auctioned area above. Does that make sense? We're going back to where I came from, which is my roots of explaining the chart and lining up the trades with the charts so that we capture these. I went back, I spent hours last night going through old notes, where I came from, what I was doing, why it was working, along with the algos that we have, and we're going to put those pieces together. And if you look at the low, stop. If you didn't get, well, I'm not trading the low, but if you didn't get it, right, what did it look like? So pause for a second there. That's what the low looked like, right? So the patterns that jump out at me almost immediately, right, is I got pink bar over purple bar, right? This jumps out at me almost immediately. Pink over purple on apex stop. Pink over purple on apex stop. Pink over purple on apex stop, right? That jumps out at me. Guess what I'm going to do? Look for that freaking pattern, right? Pink over purple. In addition, look, I get a huge delta surge into the low, right? Big wave down, right? Big dominant wave, lots of excess on the end. Big delta surge, pink over purple. Pink and purple next to each other, we already know is valuable. And off we go to the races, right? And we had the prior day's low sitting there, right? And that's what composes that, right? We can reproduce that. We can reproduce that trade, right? So, like I said, that's very possibly the low of the day. And if you look on the 24, purple, no pink above. Purple, no pink above. Pink above. Backside test of the low volume node. Close, arrow up, pink bar up. See ya. Okay? So go look at that pattern and put it to memory. Right? Put it to memory so that you can read it in the future. That's what I would do. Pink and purple, along with apexes. That's pretty much effectively the low of the day, and it's a 100-point trade out of there. That can be repeated. And we have it recorded, thanks to Joyce, so we can rewatch it and see how it laid out. That's gone, baby, gone. See ya. Look at the move on ES. Straight up. Coming back to Ivy Low. Bar stuffed outside the channel, and they probably lift into that. Bar stuffed right in front of the number. And now we can get to work maybe. Lots of room to the upside. See if we can get a retest back down somehow. combos that work. Impulse move. There's the IB high. Here's the current 50-60. Forming a wedge up there on top. You can see on the 24. Like the IB high. See that? Lots of energy being built. That's going to break one way or the other. Man, Chop City. That's consolidating. They're not letting it go. Look at that. Look at that wedge. Like the sellers are going to come in. You'd think they'd come in already. They clearly have to break this. Note. Purple stuff, pink stuffed, purple stuffed, right? I agree with it. Yep, I totally agree with that, Tasia. Beautiful trade, Tasia. I totally agree with it. Upside break after consolidation off the push, bottom of the range. I'm telling you, you can look back at that and see 19,800 on that thing. Cool, Randy. Or the stuff thereof. Get outside the channel. What? You gotta. No, you're on the wrong side of the formula there. Do it the other way around. Do it. What is that? 24 tick? Why are you entering there? Oh, the screenshot's 15 tick. This? Is that this? It's inside the channel. Where was that? You should have been just to the left of that, Tasia. I would have said here. We don't line up. I would have said here if I was going to short it. Oh, was the long. You took a stop on the long. Oh, okay. I would say you'd have to enter here, Tasia, on the 24. That's the trade you wanted. And the problem is you're not trapping on anything. See that? And if you entered here, right, on that purple, that's totally fine. It's just a 1 bar stop. You needed it to go down immediately, but you're trying to short the bottom of the range, and there's no downside momentum or not much left. And look, they're just not letting it. Look at the thing, like you're 1, 2, 3, 4th day down. Yeah. If I was going to short, this is what I would have shorted for a test back to this. You had to break that structure right there to go lower. You really need underneath an impulse move below 19,528. Like, this is just, look at what this is doing. So think about it if you're an average retailer, right? So first of all, you're above this structure, right? So you at least got to get below the point of control of this. So you need at least below 19,551, right? That's the point of control of that structure. Like I said, we're getting back to some old school stuff, right? Pink bar stuff to travel back to 19,551. Okay, that's what you have to break to go lower. Okay, so this is just consolidating, just like this did. Build energy, push. Here's your biggest wave on top. That actually coincides with that 19,551 to break the 19,530 to become resistance to move lower, right? And now if you look, we're just in sideways chop from yesterday. So the edge of that, so you got to think I'm trading in chop, right? We break above. This is the afternoon high. You need above 19,650 or 35, whatever that is. Approximately 48 to 50, let's call it, to break above and re-auction this area. You're inside prior day's balance. Point of control is the target, and you're above yesterday's value area low, right? You shook out all the sellers. So if you're short, you're open for a retest of the 504 from the 582, which is certainly possible. You just need certain things to happen in order to get that. But most importantly, we've gone into balance, right? So just, there's nothing wrong with that. Just keep it in mind that, hey, we're in balance and they haven't broken it down yet. And we've changed from yesterday's straight down, sell everything attitude, right? So, And now we're doing this grind thing, right? So let them do that. Don't be overexcited to short it or go long. And now we're positive on the day, right? So what's going to happen to all those shorts? That right there. See ya, wouldn't want to be ya. I'm telling you, that thing can go. 19800's a real possibility today. Yep, I agree. Good job. I agree with it. Ha! What a schizophrenic market, huh? People are like, oh, it's all short. Oh, it's all long. It's just incredible how crazy this thing is. Yeah. See how we went just below this point of control? Just right there. That should act as support. If we can get there. 34.25 would be a trap there on the 15. See that? Apex trap, purple bar. Purple bar broke the apex. Purple bar broke the apex. Rotate back up toward target to the other apex or target up here. Tasia, do you see that? Purple bar, that is the best apex trap there is because it sends it the other direction. Awesome, Dan. Good work, sir. Good trading. Wow. And thank you for the comment on YouTube. I could really use some positive comments on YouTube and some thumbs up on the videos to counteract what those guys have done. There's an apex trap on the 15 with none of the fixings, right? Meaning there's nothing there to work off of per se. Okay, so see how it's working against this point of control off the 24? So what I'm drawing is the DVP of the last push up, right? And that's where it's struggling right now, is to get above the point of control at 47. That's why I keep slamming into that 47 and struggling. There's sellers there. Okay, I'm pulling out all the stops because we are going to get paid as a room even more, right? I've left certain parts behind. Time to stop developing and just use the tools that we have already to help us. So pink bar up above the point of control, right? So if they stuff that guy, that'd also be apex trap back in at 44, right? If it doesn't, then there's no trade, right? So what that is those guys struggling to get above that point of control and getting offered supply is what's going on. They're trying to beat it, which is fine, right? They're trying to beat it. but they may not be able to. That's why we're hovering in that location. That's where all the volume is. And now we're just dancing around it. So notice how it's starting to chop. Just relax. Let the payoffs and the setups come properly. Okay. Just let it reset, right, and get it pushed down. Okay, they're not ready to rip roar it. And they're starting to chop, right? So just have self-awareness about that so you can make the adjustment. That's all you're having to do is make the adjustment. They're just dancing on this point of control is all they're doing. It's just chopping, so I'll wait till they break it out of here to start trading it one way or the other in another direction, right? Pink and purple are usually side by side. You want to square that off. That'll usually become in purple important later. Okay, this is Ed and Peter special. So you want to lock those so you can easily find where they are off to the left. Again, this should become support over here. Tight consolidation through here. We're just still hovering. Again, I think we have plenty of upside. I'd look for pullbacks for longs. Whee! Short squeeze them. Up into the single prints. I'm telling you, we had the low. It's been a while since I've called that, but we did. It was nice. If I sound relaxed, it's because I'm up nicely on the day and I'm not stressing and I'm not trying to keep it getting short, which makes life a lot easier after 3 days down. I'm not nailing it, I'm not destroying it, but much better than yesterday. So now I'd love them to break this. See if I anticipate it. Break this with a no supply, no demand. Or it falls back into that range and it becomes short. One of the two. Is everyone doing okay? Guys, I thought I did a lot of work last night. I was really frustrated, like not in a negative way, just come on, we're whoa, wait, what's going on with that? Not in a negative way, just in a positive way. Just really determined to go, hey, we're gonna get this back to our old school selves, right? And by the way, we're filling in the volume right in here is what we're doing, and in here. But the point of the whole deal is this: we're very good. If you look at that low, we can reproduce that result, right? We can reproduce this. That's the move to the low, right there. This is the move to the low. That's the point of control. Once it cleared it, it went, right? And if you look at the whole structure from top to bottom, this is into the low, right? And this is the structure from top to bottom. Same point of control. All the volume went off right in there, right? And once we got above it, you'll notice they cleared it with a pink bar. Now over here, to high, that's the point of control, and this is the point of control from the swing low, from the most recent swing low to the current high. Okay, is that 649. So you can kind of tell where they're going to take a pause on both places, right? And if you look over here, right, this was from the high to the low, and you can see all the volume came in at the bottom on that one. We'll be doing this more and more so that we have a way to trace what's going on. And then here, it was this. So knock once, knock twice, knock three times, arrow up, purple for the push, and now that obviously that 49 to 44 will end up acting as support when and if we get back there. And the pink and purple that we started from are pretty solid. And then you match that up. The obvious target is to come and take out the single prints up here by the end of the day. Will we do it? I don't know. And the only way I would have liked this better is if we could have gotten a pink bar below stuffed right here in the bottom channel. And I still like the apex traps coming off of this down here, if it sets up correctly, for a retest back up, or we come back and take out and retest down here. One of the two. And if we don't do any of the above, I just keep my money and move on with my day. Oh, there's the purple stuff. I was looking away and I missed it. That's alright. It still didn't take out the Globex. I don't think it took out that apex. Maybe it did by a tick. Whoa. What just happened there? See how it pushed into that point of control? Over pushed. Got into the point of control of this structure here. Backside tested, pushed out. Does that make sense? Is that making sense when I'm explaining that, guys? And now if you look at this, right? Here's the push down. There's the point of control. That's the likely target, right? Or we want another push down where we can move this point of control lower and trade against it, right? And if you look, you got the purple bar, you just didn't get the trap for the push back up, right? So you got it here, enough to scale, right? Breaks down, long liquidates, panic push, right? If you stayed on process, you should be profitable this morning, is my opinion. Does anyone disagree with that? Or is that a not 100% representation? And when it hits that 71, 75, they are going to struggle on that. So it's going to come back to retest this, right? Before it falls away, it's going to come back to retest this 60, right? So if you're looking to short, this is equal, closes underneath, comes back to backside test that guy, and then temporarily falls away. You want to catch that outside the range, like here. See that? Closes underneath, backside test, falls away. That process repeats if you can keep your risk under control. Back in. And panic into the close. What's going on? That's weird. That's Apex Trap, purple bar stuffed. I think that's a great trap on the 24. Come back to test the 37 maybe. I'm lined up at 37.50. No fill. Filled 37.50. Against 28. Unless there's a Fed speaker that I'm missing or something, that's weird. I'm gonna get stopped. Stopped. Am I missing something? And there's just... Nagel is speaking. That's just so weird. I don't understand it, but that's fine. Wow. I'm long again, 37 on the Apex Trap. Same trade. If I take a stop here, I'll take a break until after lunch. I'm still up on the day, but I do not want to get stopped again. I don't know what happened there, or how I got that so wrong. Done. Taking a break. Sorry, that's very frustrating. I may need to remember not to trade between London and that last 10 minutes. I just gave back half my day. And it trapped again, and I'm not taking it. I'm taking my money home. I apologize. That's on me. How did I miss that? I mean, what in the world just happened where we're just, bam. How did I miss that break? Man, we just, damn. I'm frustrated, to say the least. It looked good, and then it didn't. And if I don't sound frustrated, you would be wrong about that. I'm keeping my cool, but I'm frustrated. I was on process all the way through, and maybe I just need to quit at 10 a.m. I nailed it. I mean, I had a good day. I still have a good day, but that's wrong. What was that? A 699 to 618, 100-point roll down. How did I get that wrong? That's what I want to know. I guess I was a little too on point for the potential reversal, is the only way to explain that. Back into, I mean, unfair pricing is all the way down by 19,535. I mean, look, we just closed and it was just like dump, 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 dump. So, tricky, tricky. I will protect my P&L. Look at that. The complete thing, the whole nature of that thing totally changed just in a heartbeat. And I missed the head and shoulders, I guess. But ask me if I'm happy. I am not. Wow. 382, there's the 5060 right in here. And it was just a straight cascade down. You can't argue with that. 120 point roll down. And I still don't see how I would have taken that. I'm alright with this. It's the double trap that got me. That's normally very good. I would take that every time. Yeah. That was very wicked. Then the character changed all over again. Look at that. There's nothing good or bad about it, it's just how it is. Anyone have any idea of how I could have done that better in terms of seeing the short there? Because I feel like I missed it completely. Like, I didn't even see it coming. I guess I could have picked up the speed, the velocity. What did I miss? I guess once we got under those points of control is what I missed. Got it. Okay. That's a good point. And now look, now they don't want to sell it. They're just like, yeah, no, we're not so interested in that. Also, I missed the velocity increase, the rate of change increased dramatically here. But I still don't see what I missed. Outside of the, you're right, I did 50-60 back, but that's all I missed. So now we need to form an apex over here. And yeah. tweezers bottom on the 24. Hell, I don't know what we're doing now. So I think I'll just go to lunch and we'll see this afternoon if we can get them to cooperate, because it's a little spastic right now. That's what I think. Anyone have any other input or questions or anything I can do that you thought I could do better? I thought I traded it pretty good right up until deciding to trade at 10:30. I maybe should have cut it off at 9:30. I had the read right up until then. Interesting. Randy, that was a nice trade. Was it this purple bar getting beat right here? Oh, I had to take this call. Give me just 1 second. Hey.
Hey,
Well, how you doing?
I'm putting the ice pack on for a little bit before I have to get dressed. My 12 o'clock canceled, so I don't have to get dressed till 11.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I have a few more minutes. So what do you want me to do about the size thing?
I'm,
Ice or...
I'm not sure. I'm thinking about it.
Oh, okay, so I don't need to do anything right now. It's just going to tell me.
Yeah, I think that's probably the first thing I need to do.
Okay, and then we talk about it later.